You're listening to
All right, there we go. Okay, Wanda, type a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. All right, all right, all right. There we go. Man, I don't know if the alert went out to everybody. It didn't come to my phone or anything. Did the alerts go out? Hey, Vonda, did you get the alert? Julian, did you get the alert?
Max,
What's going on?
have you started live ready?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me turn this down. Give me a second. So I ain't getting no notification that you were live.
Yeah. Yeah, the notification didn't go out for some reason.
Yeah, maybe this is your backup channel. That's why it's gonna take a while.
Man. I think I should start the stream over again and see if the alerts go out.
I'm in live. Let me go on live.
Wanda said she got her notification.
Is anybody in the chat room watching right now?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, you might as well continue because I came in now because that's why I went to Discord to find anybody would drop the link because I was trying to find on YouTube and I forgot what the actual name is. So I tried to check. You know, that's my fault. Don't worry. Continue. I'll find you.
Well, people, we are early here. It's been a minute. Sorry for all of the delays. Had a few minor setbacks. We will get the show started here shortly. I'm still getting some things done. I'm not sure why the alert didn't go out to everyone, but we're going to get the show started regardless. Just give me a few minutes here. There we go. Now my people are starting to show up. There goes Sugar B. What's going on, Sugar B?
Jacob Lee.
All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Maximum Overdrive third gear. Before we get started, everybody hit a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. To make sure the stream is coming through kind of clear here. Somebody give me a 1 in the chat, let me know if I'm coming in kind of, all right, okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Fonda Harris, Sugar B, Kylie Jane. Missed you guys. Oh, wow, so let me tell you what happened before we get started. It's been a wild kind of ride. As you guys know, the Maximum Overdrive was gaining a little steam here. And then we got hit with a copyright strike, okay, which prohibited my channel from going live. And the copyright strike wasn't about any music or anything like that. It was over a video that I showed. I think some of you were here for the video I did called The Black Superwoman, where I showed the African lady having the 38 kids. That video was hit with a copyright strike, even though I thought it fell under fair use. And I was given quite the commentary on the video. It was still hit with a copyright strike, and the people who owned the video had the video removed. And that hurt the Maximum Overdrive, as it gave me a penalty for 90 days and I cannot go live on that channel. So that's what happened to the drive. Then we put up the Maximum Overdrive second gear, and Kylie Jane was in there with me and Cerulean, and we was testing it one night to make sure that the live capabilities were good. And we was just in here lollygagging and having some fun, and YouTube decided to strike down the whole channel. We had no idea why. we were baffled as to why the channel was struck down, because we was only on for about, I think, maybe 45 minutes, and we wasn't really doing anything. No one was spamming anything. We was just testing, basically playing some music, and the channel just got wiped out. I mean, suspended, like poof, gone. Okay, I'm talking about to the point where the channel wasn't even allowed to log on to YouTube itself. We was like, what in the world happened? Then I appealed that. They let them know that there was nothing going on. They agreed and they reinstated that channel. So Maximum Overdrive second gear is back in action, but we're going to turn it into something else. Then we created the Maximum Overdrive third gear, which we are on now. And it was gun shy with that one for a second. And I made like a 2-second video clip, hiding behind the bushes to see if they're going to strike it down, and they didn't. So everything is all good now. So we're back in action. We're back up and running. So that's what was going on. So it's been a rough 2 weeks for us. We couldn't go live last week because the channel, the second gear was struck down. We had no idea what had happened to that channel. So, but now we're back. And again, and everybody welcome, the Maximum Black is back. Okay, and I'm still the same person. We're gonna cut it up here tonight. We got a good one for you tonight. It's called Creating an Environment of Maximum Protection for the Black Woman. We're gonna talk about that tonight. But before I get started, let me give my shout outs to my strong people, Wanda Harris, Kylie Jane, Cerulean, my brother Cerulean. Cerulean, what you doing down there, bro? Where you at, man? I put the link in Discord. And Royal Black by Design. Glad you guys can make it. Yeah, Kylie, we had no idea what the heck was going on. We thought YouTube lost their mind. We were like, what in the world is going on here? But anyway, so we will be talking about creating, as you guys know, I'm an old school brother. I don't make no bones about it. I come from out of the late 60s and the early 70s and 80s, where there was a different vibe about our environment, and the brothers were different, the black men were different back then versus these black men. Now, we're gonna get into all of that here in a minute. We definitely not gonna let Tank get away with that nonsense. We will touch on that too, okay? We will definitely touch on the situation with Tank. First, I gotta find out what's going on with my Zoom here. Don't tell me something else has gone wrong. Okay, no, I'm just waiting for Cerulean to show up here. He ain't showed up in the listening yet. But anyway, but yeah, so, yeah, Sugar Tank. But that's a good one, Vonda. That's exactly right. We're gonna get into what Sugar Tank said. We're gonna deal with that. Okay, so we will deal with what Mr. Sugar Tank said. Trust me. I'm trying to wait for a little bit more people to get in here. I'm not sure why I'm not sure why the alert link didn't go out to everyone. Vonda says she got hers. Kylie, did you get yours? So yeah, so let's get into the topic here a little bit called creating the environment of maximum protection for the Black woman. And I come from that era. I come from that mindset to where the environment, okay, the environment that was created back in those days, it was an environment that provided maximum protection. What I mean by maximum protection was the way the mentality was with the brothers back then, because this was taught to us in the home. Okay, our sisters and our mothers were off limits, right? They were to be protected. So all of the brothers in that community had the right kind of mindset for their own women and children, right? And so having that mindset throughout the community created a barrier of protection. So no matter where the black woman went, she was protected because all of the men in that community had the same kind of mentality. Okay, I come from a time where women, especially little girls, couldn't go anywhere by themselves. Okay, now when you hear that, you say, well, wait a minute. Were they locked up? No, they wasn't locked up. They were free to go about, right? It's just that they had a male chaperone everywhere they went. Okay, even if it wasn't their own brothers, other brothers in the community took up that protection mantle, right? Like my young sisters, they couldn't go to the store without having one of us with them, without having me or one of my brothers with them, or an uncle or male cousin, right? Just walking to the store, okay? And then there was males in the environment always around, okay, willing to protect women. Like you couldn't put your hands on women in the street, somebody would step to you. We didn't care who you was. You couldn't, if you couldn't be a male and you couldn't start yelling and screaming on a woman in the street, somebody would stop you. You know, we didn't allow harm to come to the women back then. You couldn't come in my neighborhood and start screaming on a black woman and no man wouldn't step to you. As a matter of fact, every man within earshot would converge on you, okay? Because back then, the black woman was protected. She was never by herself. Even if her brothers weren't around, of the men in the community were around, because they had that same kind of mentality. Okay, and so now for some reason, that mentality has gotten lost. It doesn't exist today. Now it exists in other culture, I mean, other races. Like if you was to go to Chinatown and you disrespect a Chinese woman, all of the Chinese guys were in earshot, they will converge on you. You see, they still got that mentality. They still got that mentality out of the 70s. On me once in school, Funny Brothers was on it. Yes, exactly, Rhonda. Exactly. And you know what? And in my neighborhood back then, white boys couldn't walk through my neighborhood. Forget about this dude, this white boy DJ Kid or whatever. White boys could do. The only white boys that could walk through my neighborhood, you have to have like been born on that block, like your family have to been living on that block, okay, already. We have to actually know you. You have to be known. Other than that, you couldn't just come to our neighborhood like that. Okay, and so the men in the neighborhood back then. Hold on one second. Let me check something. So the men in the neighborhood back then had that kind of mentality. So it was easy to have this permeate throughout the community because all of the men basically came from the same kind of ideology, because this was taught in the black homes back then. Okay, it wasn't cool to argue with a woman in the street. It wasn't cool to put your hands on a woman in the street. It wasn't cool. Now you can be having some kind of back and forth with your girl, but you couldn't take it to the point to where you see these guys are doing it, where they shouting on women and ready to fight women. Oh no, man, somebody would step to you. And cats didn't even get down like that. Like you very rarely saw that in the street, because there was a code that if you was arguing and fighting with a woman, you were a coward. Nobody wanted to be pegged as a coward. So it's not a behavior, okay, that was common in the street. You very rarely saw. I mean, you saw it like once in the blue moon, okay, and then that brother would get checked. But other than that, you hardly ever saw that kind of behavior, because nobody wanted to be the coward. And let me tell you something. The time that I came from, you had to really be a man, because we didn't use weapons of combat, okay? The weapons of choice were your fists. So you really had to prove man to man that you was better than another man. That's why I call it the black and blue era, because I came out of that era where if you got into a fight with someone, people would make a circle around you and nobody would let you out that circle until one of you could no longer continue. So you had to have an extreme amount of heart and courage, okay, to survive in that era. I mean, I walked the street with some of the hardest and toughest women that you can find. Okay, these men that I walked the street with, they were known for knocking people out with their bare hands. Okay, you had women that was known for knocking out other women. I mean, this is where it was back then. This is how we got down back then. You know, you had to have heart. We called it having heart. You know, so none of these little sissies today, none of these sissies today could live back in my time. They wouldn't survive. You know, I wouldn't give like some of the guys I heard over here on the YouTube. I wouldn't give 2 days, 2 days of survival, if that. Hold on one second. Let me get my esteemed brother in here from the Gray Regime. The leader of the Gray Regime has decided to join us. But anyway, so getting back to what I was saying, so this kind of environment, right? The attitude of this environment was permeating throughout the community. Now, but you see, this was taught in the home. Okay, you didn't learn this in the street. This is what came out of the home. You were taught this in the home. You were taught to protect your sister, protect your mother, protect your grandmother, protect your little sister, protect every female in your family was supposed to be protected. Your father instituted this protection, this mentality of protection. That's why almost every brother in that community had that mentality. We have fathers that were in the home that if the father didn't do it, the next male would do it, like the uncle or the grandfather. Some elder male would instill that mentality into the minds of the young boys. Okay, and it was natural for us to walk our sisters to the store, to chaperone, to even hang around while they out there jumping rope, right? Back then, you could hardly find girls playing together by themselves. They would be playing with each other, but there was always some guys around, whether it be her cousins or uncles. There was always somewhere hanging around close by, keeping an eye on them and whatnot while they playing. Okay, there was always that aura of protection. So the environment was comfortable for the Black woman back then and the Black children, because once the Black woman was protected, she in turn protected the children. Okay? And then she will also help us who were willing to protect the environment, keep the environment under control by pointing out things that we couldn't see, by letting us know if there was some kind of menace in the community that needed to be dealt with. Okay, and so you fast forward to today, you don't have that mentality. These guys got a mentality of they want you to protect them. And this is what the problem is. You got brothers today who have a feminine quality that they feel that the woman should be protecting them. And so this environment today is one of corruption and doesn't yield any kind of protection for the Black woman or the Black children. There is no wall between the Black woman, right, and the wild and zany and chaotic nature of the world. There is no environment of protection. So we have to get back to that. We have to recreate that environment of maximum protection. And if you don't believe me, this model still exists today. It just doesn't exist in the Black community. It's like I mentioned before, you can't go to a Chinese neighborhood and do anything to one of their women. That mentality is still there. You can't go to a Hispanic neighborhood and do anything to a Hispanic woman, disrespect her or say anything out of the way to her. Man, them guys will jump on you like a bunch of fleas. That mentality is still alive and well today in other races of men. It's just no longer existing in the race of Black men, Black American men. For some reason, that mentality is lost. And that's one of the biggest problems. When you have guys sitting on YouTube, when you have guys in the street thinking that they deserve more protection than the black woman or the black child, right? You got to. I can't even imagine what kind of problem you're talking about having right now. Yeah, well, some of them do. Some of them do. Unfortunately, some of them do. Some of them want the some of them want the protection that the black woman had back in the 70s and 80s before the crack epidemic. This environment did exist. I grew up in this environment. I was a part of the protection. That's
Indeed.
how I know it existed.
All of the boys were.
I used to walk my sisters to the store as a chaperone. I know it existed. I came up in it. I grew up in it. What'd you say there, Cerulean?
I said all of the boys were back in the day.
Welcome to the show, my esteemed brother and leader of the Gray Regime, Cerulean Gray.
Greetings, Steve Maximus.
Mm-hmm. You're coming in a little bit low, brother Cerulean. Turn your mic up a little bit. Matter of fact, let me turn the music off.
Coming in.
Okay. Okay, come on in now.
How am I coming in now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Yes, I was telling them that this mentality was created because it was taught in the home. And so the brothers in the community, they already had this in their mind. So it was easy to provide that protection for the black woman, no matter where she was in the community.
Well, men historically have always been the defense apparatus for all communities. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
It is only this new era of New Jacks that think that it's not their responsibility. See, that's the reason why you see the women running over the top of these dudes, is because women who have been, for the most part, incubated in that paradigm, they actually saw men literally shirking their responsibility. And then the young ladies that are coming up, they see like there's a massive deficiency. Like, there's a masculinity deficiency.
Mm.
Black community. You know, massive. You know, and I know Negroes hate to hear it when I tell them that they're derelict in their masculinity. It's a fact. They think it is some kind of an insult. I'm just stating what is. You got dudes running around here saying, you know, the gynocracy. So okay, if it's a gynocracy, that means that you don't have a voice. Now, if it is a gynocracy, why haven't the derelict males been held accountable?
Actually, if it's a gynocracy,
Mm-hmm.
then that also tells you why the environment of protection no longer exists, because these men, they have got to the point where they become extremely effeminate, and now they're depending on the protection of the female more so than the male is protecting the female.
Yeah, they want the woman to fight his wars for him, his battles.
Yeah, they want to lay down in a fetal position while the woman do all of the work, while she becomes the human shield, while she becomes the protector. And basically, I think, you know what I think it is? I think that they want to change places with the woman. They want to be the wife.
And why not?
I think that's what it is. I think that the mentality is to the point where they want to be the wives. Because when you really look at their behavior, right, they complain more than women do. They're very catty now. Since when do men sit up and gossip with women effectively. I mean, these dudes got effective rhetoric when it comes to gossiping with women. How is it that you holding your own in a gossip contest with a bunch of women? I've never heard of that before, especially from a real man. A man don't gossip. We don't gossip. We don't sit down and cackle back and forth with women.
Yeah, I remember I was on a panel with Absurdian.
Mhm.
It was Ren's channel. And was it Ren's channel? No, actually it was Amiri's channel.
Mhm.
And Amiri was literally about to let this goofy ass nigga
Thanks for the cash app, Vonda. Love you. Yeah, Mr. William.
and Amiri was literally letting this goofy ass Negro roast, disrespect, denigrate his fucking co-host. I think her name was Miss Von Shea.
Wow.
You Obsidian?
Yeah.
I remember that shit.
And I'm like, no, and if I hadn't have stepped in, it would have happened. If I hadn't have been on the panel, it would have happened. Right? Because I come from the position that no, we're not going to use this lady's personal life, right, as a measuring stick, nor as a tool to superimpose your own. And I'm talking about Obsidian's own dereliction and male inadequacy onto the rest of society.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they come up with these words, right? And they try to harp on the women about shaming language. But whenever you understand the word simp, as a matter of fact, I'm going to change the word simp. Superior intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And masculine performance.
Mm-hmm. Superior intelligent and masculine performance. Oh, I like it. I like it.
See, when I hear the Negro say or call me a simp, what I hear is a lesser Negro male, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop being a real man and let me abuse these women. That's what I hear. Like that's literally what I hear, right? When the Negro sits there and says, well, your life turned out fucked up. Like, wait. I don't hear Miss Von Shea up here complaining about how her life turned out. However, I do hear you, a grown 50-year-old something motherfucker, complaining how yours turned out. So whose life really turned fucked up? Whose life really turned out fucked up? The motherfucker that's not complaining or the motherfucker that's complaining incessantly?
This is what I'm saying. You see, this is something that we don't do. I've never heard of any of this before. When I came on YouTube and I started hearing these guys, at first I thought it was some kind of gimmick. Maybe these guys, got some kind of trick going on. I didn't take it seriously because this is not the way men behave. I don't know men that behave this way. I've never behaved this way. Okay, I don't even think like this. I'm not even sure what this is. But then when I found out that these guys are serious, I'm like, what? Like, what happened? Where did these guys even come from? This is not normal male behavior. Men do not behave this way. We do not sit around and cackle it back and forth with women. We don't complain. We are movers and shakers. We are builders. We go out and we handle business. That is what we do. We don't sit around complaining about and drowning in our sorrows and arguing back and forth with women. That's not what we do as men.
No. Men are, this is what men do. They build, they destroy, they solve problems.
Exactly. Exactly. If we don't like the environment, well, guess what? We go tear it down and build a new one. We don't sit there and cry about the environment is bad. Okay, well, the environment is bad. Let's
These niggas
start
don't
over.
build no environment, Max. You know, they like to nest. That's why they complain more than anything else. Like a woman.
Right. If something is broke, we fix it. We don't whine about it. If the roof has a hole in it and the water is coming in from the rain, we don't sit there talking about, oh my God, the roof is, no, we go and we fix the roof. That is what we do. These guys want to sit there and whine about the roof having a hole in it. In the meantime, the water is destroying everything within your home. You know, like Cerulean said, we fix things, we destroy things, we build things. We don't sit around and complain about things. That's for the women. Let the women do the complaining. But it seems that this is the exact opposite here on YouTube. I truly believe that these guys, they want to be brides. They want the woman to be the man who comes and propose and gets on one knee with the ring and pursue them, and they want to wear the white wedding dress with all of the bouquets and flowers and the little flower girls, and that's what they want. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they want to be called Mrs. rather than Mr. How else do you explain this kind of behavior? You know, is this the blue pill behavior? Is this the red pill behavior? Is it the black pill that drives the man to want to be extremely feminine? Which pill is it? Mr. Gray, do you have an answer for that? Which pill are we talking about here?
I don't know. Maybe it's the new masculinity pill proposed by GQ magazine. I don't know.
Really? Now, getting back to the environment, well, first of all, in order to provide the environment of maximum protection that I am talking about, first you got to be a man first, okay? If you walking around here afraid of your own shadow, scared of women, scared of what, you're not providing the protection for no one. Okay. First of all, you gotta have some heart to even begin with before we even get to the protection part. All right. If you don't have any courage or anything like that, you don't have any heart, then just forget about it. And that's probably why the environment right now doesn't protect Black women, because the men are cowards. Okay. Cowardly men cannot provide any kind of protection, let alone maximum protection. Do you agree, Mr. Gray?
Indeed.
What do you suppose? How do you think we get around? How do you think we reinstitute the ideology that is needed to create this environment of protection for the Black women and children?
I don't know. I know one thing. It takes an organized body of men. That's what I know. It takes an organized body of men.
But wait a minute. Wouldn't that be the red pill guys? Aren't they an organized body of men?
No, they're not. They're the only organization that they have is that they are a monolith, and that they're all rugged individuals spewing the same talking points. that's about the only measurement of organization that they are. But see, if you know about the mockingbird isn't a very organized creature. Mockingbirds are quite reclusive. They're reclusive, but yet they have all the same behavioral patterns. They repeat the same chirps, right?
Mhm.
They, you know, always want to peck at the female of the species. I mean, that's what the mockingbird is. It's kind of like a reversal of typical nature that is modern. It's the
Wait
only
a minute.
in which
Are,
the females do not henpeck, but the males peck at the women. That's what they are.
are you saying that the male mockingbird is a natural coward?
Yes.
Wow. Let me ask you a question, Cerulean. In all your travels, right? Do you still see maximum protection for women around this world, other than in our environment? Do you see it with the Chinese man, the Asian man? I mean, with the Hispanic male or whatever they're calling them nowadays, Latinos, Mexicans, whoever. You see it with the white man. Do you see it with other races and men? And if you do, tell me why you see it with them, but you don't see it with us anymore. We used to have it, but in my opinion, we don't have it anymore. Break it down, partner.
The reason we don't have it is because it's like I was saying about the post civil rights Negro. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there was a gap in between the boomers and the Gen Xers within that 10 to 15 year space between 1960 and 1975. That is when the majority of the policies that negatively disaffect Black folk happened. It was during that period of time where the post civil rights era Negro was asleep at the wheel. That little critical space in between the boomer and Gen X generation.
Hmm.
And so when we get to say the 80s and 90s, that remnant of pre 1965 still existed. That's why when you talk about maximum protection and those rituals and rites and practices that we had, like women were not to go anywhere unescorted.
Exactly. Yes. And that was a natural mentality. And the women didn't feel like they were in a cage or anything. Okay. It was just something that was just natural. You just didn't let your little sister go to the store by herself.
No, because
Okay.
you got to remember,
Mhm.
political identity the political identity is that we understood that we lived amongst savage people.
Yes.
We understood that we live amongst our open enemies.
Hmm.
Recognize white society um, as a particularly dangerous um, group in which the women
Absolutely.
be unescorted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what else too, Cerulean? The fathers would watch over the neighborhood too, like a hawk. You couldn't even come through the neighborhood unless you knew. You had to know somebody in the neighborhood. You just couldn't walk through our neighborhood and nobody knew you. You would never make it down the block. Somebody's father would step to you. Who are you? What are you doing around here? I've never seen you around here before. Who child are yours? Who child do you belong to? Who's your mother and father? You would get questioned like that. That happened to me. I remember the time the first time I went down Van Nostrand Street, I got stopped by somebody's father in question. You know, you just couldn't walk through the neighborhood. I mean, those neighborhoods were protected by the fathers. And somebody, and then at least either one or more of them always was packing. whether it be a shotgun, some kind of long gun rifle, some kind of Smith and Wesson, they will always pack it. Sometimes they walk out in the street and they greet you with the gun. This is what was going on back then. This is what was presented in the community. And you're talking about having complete control over the community? Man, you couldn't, anybody's father, right, could snap their fingers and tell you to do something, you jump 10 feet up in the air. And you had better not say nothing out of the way, because the information would get back to your parents. And you had to deal with that. That's how tight the community was back then. I grew up in that. That you don't have anymore. I don't see any of that or anything resembling that today. It's true, bro. I'm just calling it the way I did. See, I'm seeing it. And hearing these weak little sissies. You see, back then, again, I'm telling my age again, but I'm proud of my age. I'm 52. We call people like these brothers you hear today complaining and whining, we call them sissies. You know, y'all have more intelligent terms for them. You know, y'all call them effeminate and all that, but we just plain old call them sissies. That's what they were. They were the little punks who ran down the street with their knees knocking together like little girls. Call them sissies. That's what I hear. I hear a bunch of sissies on these live streams, in these chat rooms, talking rather than doing something in the community. And as long as they hear talking with the women, right, that excuse them, that gets them out of their responsibility in their community. That's why they go and they hide behind these factions like red pill, blue pill, black pill, which is all nonsense. Okay, it's just a shield, okay, to cover up the fact that they are being completely irresponsible in their community and don't want to be responsible for anything in their community. And they come out here and they tell you women, it's your fault, because the more they keep you occupied and they never will argue with them about that, right? Then the more you're not paying attention to the fact that they're being completely derelict in their masculinity and their manly duties. Am I right, Mr. Gray?
Indeed. And I can blame no one, but us. I mean, it's our, you know, it's our fiduciary responsibility. I mean, and you know, it actually makes me, and I hate to say this, but it makes me feel bad for this generation of women. Like this is
I do, man.
Deal with, right? Like
I really do.
They want a community, but this is what they have to deal with. Really, niggas are just complaining about not being chosen.
Yeah, that's. You see, the thing about it is, you see, they don't understand something though. All of that being chosen by a woman and all that stuff and being submissive, they don't understand, dude. All of that is an act of manliness, of manhood. You have to be a man in order to be chosen by a woman. You have to be a man in order for a woman to willingly submit. You got to be a man. You got to be someone that's out here, okay, commanding respect, exhibiting leadership, right? Having the ability to provide, okay? Having the ability to protect. You got to exhibit some courage, some honor. You have to be a man to be selected by a woman. They don't understand that. This is all an act of manhood.
Yeah, the noble warrior.
Yes.
Oh, you think some whiny? Look, you think some whiny? Sweet, the fucking whiny fucking soyitarian is gonna put his fucking life on the line and defend.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. If you, 1 second. If you got a couple of brothers who are coming in to an area where there's women at, and you got two of the brothers who standing up straight, they look strong, they're confident, broad-shouldered, look like they can handle something, they're gonna get the attention. And you come in there with your face on the ground, your chin dragging the ground, and your knuckles scraping the ground like you some monkey, they're not gonna pay you any attention because they don't see any confidence. They don't see any strength in you. So no, you're not gonna get selected. You know, and they don't get it. They tend to want, like these guys, these socially awkward guys, right?
Mhm.
They have let shyness become complete fear, okay? And that they won't even look a woman in the eye when they walk down the street. You can't gain no woman's attention like that. You can't even look her in the eye. You can forget about being selected. Don't even think about that. They've allowed shyness to become to the point where it's detrimental to them. It's a severe. It's turned into a fear. Okay, almost a phobia-like fear.
Yeah, I mean, you really look at it. Let's just be honest, man. Like, you look at a lot of the shit these motherfuckers are saying, right? A lot of this shit is just being fucking used an excuse for dereliction, right? Like, take for instance, the DJ Hivy situation. White boy, 600 black girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do in every article of that you've seen on that, it refers to the young girls as women.
Mm.
Articles that say this one man infects 600 black women. Oh, that's right, because whenever it's black children, they don't get to be children.
Mm.
Now, to answer Mary Brown, that is an example of internalized whiteness. When you can sit there and say that they were all hoes, just hoes, just they were just whores.
Well, that's just an assumption.
Mind the fact that they were victims of bioterrorism.
Mm-hmm.
And who will be the next victims of that bioterror? The black men that the black men or black boys that they will go on to sleep with and pass it on. That is the collective failure of the defense arm of the black community. That is ours to eat. We have to eat that fucking L.
Well, they don't want to eat the L because they don't think that it's their problem. You got brothers walking around here now talking about, well, wouldn't it? I didn't know any of the women. I don't care. It wasn't my women, but you see, they were your women. They were black women. This is the problem. This is what I'm talking about that environment, okay? These men don't have the code in their mind. So it's not permeating throughout the communities today. These brothers in just about every community, the mentality is different. That's why there's no protection. The mentality from neighborhood to neighborhood has to be the same. Okay, if I'm on block A, you got B, C, D, and E. By the time I get to E, the letters in between, if they're on something different, okay, then there'll be no protection from A to E. No protection whatsoever. So the black woman may be protected in environment A, and she may be protected in environment E. But B, C, and D, there's no protection. So she has to get through B, C, and D. in order to get the E for more protection. And that's pretty much what it is. There's protection here and there and far and away. And that's what has to be fixed. That's how guys like DJ Kid can come into these neighborhoods and do what he did. These guys don't have a code. They don't live by a code, man. And fear seems to be at the forefront rather than courage. I mean, back in the days I was growing up, we wasn't afraid of white folks. Matter of fact, it was considered like a badge of honor to beat up a white boy. You go steal a white boy's bike or beat him up, knock him down, but bloody his nose, and you come back and tell the story, man. You was the man. That's how you made your bones that way. You got respect like that. That was almost like that was equivalent to what the Crips and Bloods would call an OG with a teardrop. You go beat up some white boys, take their stuff, man. It was basically like getting a teardrop. Now you fast forward to today, these dudes are scared to death of white boys, man. They see white boys, they go run the other way and beat up their own woman. That's how terrified. You know how terrified you got to be, that you're so afraid of someone that you take that fear and bring it back to the people that love you, and then beat them up with it. Is that what they call stark raving fear?
I mean, they're already living in fear of the dominant society, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard fucking City of Truth talk about, man, I even heard the nigga Shook say this. We already had black men. We've been having black men in the military. We need to have more. Or you learn how to defend something. Maybe you'll find the fucking balls.
Well, see, I don't pay anybody any attention, right? Who lives on YouTube and says, right, who is proud of saying what they do is dox people for YouTube, for people to YouTube to see. I have no respect for anybody like that. If that's what you do for a living, to pry into other people's lives, then you are a despicable human being. If all you can do is sit up here on YouTube and talk about you getting some kind of fellatio in a supermarket, and you are now 50-some years old talking about something that you didn't create, which is mode 1, you're sitting up here talking like you're some kind of pimp. If that is what your claim to fame is, then you are a despicable person. See, I don't pay people like that any attention because they don't have no purpose.
You know what?
See, their purpose is nothing but chaos.
You want to know a secret? And this is not really I don't know. Motherfuckers can take it how they want.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just be honest, right? Al Roger Curry got a lot of niggas tricked. Made you believe that mode 1 was some new shit, was the wave of the future. Little did you know that niggas have been operating in mode 1 for many a year before the book was written.
And you know what though, not to cut you off, but you see, this is the problem I have with stuff like this, is because you got Negroes running around here worrying about pussy, right? Okay? And being sharp, dressing sharp, and being with the ladies, whatever. Man, nigga, do you understand that you don't own nothing? Well, nigga, do you understand that you don't have any infrastructure?
Well, it's like this, right? It's kind of like with the Gray Faulkner Initiative, right? Like, see, when I start out the Gray Faulkner Initiative, I say that these are not my ideas. They're not new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Gray Faulkner compilation is a collection of ideas that I borrowed. And see, I make that very clear in the opening statement of the Gray Faulkner Initiative. Like, for instance, institutional power. There's 3 primary books that are used as a basis for the Gray Faulkner Initiative. Those books are the Blueprint for Black Power, Powernomics, right? And the
Mhm.
compensatory code by Neely Fuller Jr. See, those are great, much greater minds than I can take credit for.
Yeah, Powernomics. That's Dr. Claude Anderson.
And then what I did was I took the input from some other brothers like the esteemed Charles Faulkner,
Mhm.
right? Other brothers. Hell, you know, there's even parts of it that from BGS that are in the Great Faulkner Initiative, right?
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit there and say this mode one, is something that this is something. Even though this is something the way that black men had been operating for a very long time, just being straight up, right? Direct approach. That's something that's been used in the black community, not just in the
Right.
black community, but in the fucking world.
Yeah, and the thing about it is this, right? This pimp mentality, man, is very destructive to our women. And it's also destructive to our boys because it gives our boys the improper mentality towards women. And it turns our boys into womanizers and feminine abusers. You see, and that's how it falls too, because a lot of us, we glorify pimp culture. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of pimps are homosexuals. Okay. But they get away with this whole pimp culture. They dress in drag right in front of your face. Go take a look at Iceberg Slim and tell me, does he not dress and wear his hair like a woman and dress like a woman? Okay. Most of these pimps are homosexuals. And what they're doing is they're dressing in drag right in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're dressing in drag right in front of your face, wearing furs, pink hats like women, getting their hair curled. Iceberg Slim, right, has giant hair rollers in his hair. Where do you see that at other than women in beauty salons and women who are rolling their hair up at night?
Or black exploitation films. And
Yeah.
shout out to our esteemed lady Vonda Harris.
Mm-hmm. He wear big giant curlers in his hair. This is a very feminine man. This is not a masculine man. Listen, let's get it straight tonight, okay? We're gonna get it straight tonight about what a heterosexual man really is. And I'm gonna say this: heterosexual men do not have sexual thoughts about other men in no capacity whatsoever. We do not aspire to dress like women in no capacity. I'm never going to put rollers in my hair. I'm not going to do that because I'm not a feminine male. And most of these pimps are gay, if not all of them. Why do you think they have so much information about women? Their education of a woman's ways and behaviors far exceeds that of a normal male. How is it that they know almost everything about y'all and how y'all act if they're not inspiring to be exactly like you? I mean, the knowledge that these guys have about women
Yeah,
is freaky.
it's almost woman-like, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, not almost woman-like. It's
It
very.
is. It's like talking to another female. Men don't have the kind of information, real men, we don't have the kind of information and education of women that these guys got. Are you kidding me? And so they secretly, and then when you look at the lifestyle that a pimp is, right? You need to pay attention to this psychologically. What is he doing? He's putting the black woman down, right? He's abusing her. He's making her get out there and sell something that is intimate to her, something that's very personal to her, right? This is the ultimate disrespect. This is womanizing. Who hate black women? Gay men, homosexual men. They don't like women. And so wouldn't it make sense, right?
I mean,
For
uh,
him to be homosexual if he is abusing? Wouldn't you call making a woman get out there and sell her vagina and bring you back all the money? Wouldn't you call that abuse?
I mean, you see what the esteemed lady Kelly Jane wrote.
Hmm.
They study what they aim to impersonate.
Yes, absolutely. 100. Shout out to Kylie Jane 79. There it is. They study what they aim to impersonate. I agree. People don't even realize that pimp culture is abuse. It's feminine abuse right in front of your face. They are abusing these women. This shouldn't be glorified. A real man should never accept a pimp. If you go back to the old days, from way back in the 60s and stuff, right? Other men, other races of men hated pimps. The only one who had a cool relationship with pimps were black men. Now, not all black men, some black men knew what time it was and they hated pimps too. But most of these whack, weak Negroes was cool with pimps.
They wanted to be pimps.
Yeah.
Pimp.
Now, if you go, I'm telling you, you go back in time, back to the 50s and the 40s and beyond, right? Even back to the old cowboy days, before white boys started calling themselves cowboy and they were black cowboys, right? The men hated pimps. Pimp culture wasn't a culture that was accepted because real men understood that these men, right, they were homosexual in nature and they hated women. And in areas where it was, in areas where there was an abundance of these men, right? They allowed businesses such as whorehouses, or what you want to call them, brothels or whatever, okay? So they can, get some money off of it or whatever. But still, even though they were allowed to operate as businesses in some areas, the culture was still hated by natural men. This used to be a hated culture, pimp culture. And it is still today, and right, in some foreign men, a hated culture. But for some reason in our culture, it's cool. It's cool to abuse our women and have them wear their vaginas out, okay? Something, the gateway between life and death. That is the gateway in which a soul comes from the invisible and manifests into the visible. So from the spirit world into our world, that is a gateway that's being treated, right? That's being defiled. Who can do this other than the person of extreme hatred? That don't have a problem with a woman defiling the gateway of life. This, and you know something else? Back in the early 70s, it was still, in some areas, a hated culture. Now, it's a beloved culture. You got niggas on YouTube now. Yo, you got to be a pimp. Yo, man, I'm pimping. Yo, what up, pimping? They even call each other pimping. To me, no different than saying, yo, man, what up, homo? Yo, what up, homo? Yeah, what up, homo? Yo, what you doing, homo? Yo, man, I'm homoing, man. Yo, man, you ain't homoing more than I'm homoing. Yes, I am, man. I was homoing all night, bro. Negro, I'm the nigga. You don't know I'm the biggest homo. Okay, in Homo Town. No, nigga, I'm the biggest homo.
It's original homo.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, nigga. I'm a super homo. You got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a pimp. A pimp is nothing but another homosexual dressing in drag right in your face.
Or even have feminine tendencies, even the masculine seeming ones, right?
Exactly, the one with the funny looking mustache and the peanut size head talking about, I was Mode 1 before you knew what Mode 1 was. I was in the grocery store getting my dick sucked by a white woman. I always knew that I was better than the next man because of my looks. You see, a homosexual male is very sensitive about his looks. See, real men, we don't care about look. We know we rough and rugged. And we let the women tell us if we're handsome or whatever. We don't even care about. Of course, we care about personal hygiene and stuff like that. But getting our hair cut, right? But we strong, masculine men. We don't want around here talking about.
I heard
Yo, I look cute.
a
I
grown
look pretty.
look better than another man.
Yeah. Yeah, we may say something like, yo, I'm sharper than that Negro. Like, yo, man, I'm wearing this suit. Yo, I look sharp. We may say something like that. We ain't gonna be on some. Yo, I look better than you. I'm prettier than you. I'm cuter than you. We don't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you got these guys that are very meticulous about the way they look. That's a huge sign. Now, even though we men, right, we care about the way we look, right? But we're not very meticulous down to the most minute detail. There's something about us that's screwed up. And you know what it is? It's supposed to be that way. Because when you get with us, there's supposed to be something about us that you complain about. We're supposed to give you something to complain about. We're supposed to give you something to work on with us. Okay? There's always something you got to work on when you're with your man, whether we wear our hair looking crazy. Be like, honey, why don't you get your hair cut? Why do you keep wearing your hair sticking straight up, looking all crazy like you're out of your mind? We may think that's the coolest style in the world. You know what I'm saying? But a woman can be like, yo, why look like your hair got somebody threw a grenade in your head, bro? You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It gives you women something to do, right? To pick with us about. That's who we are. We're not perfect. We're pickable. Okay? We're pick-wittable. That's who we are. When you get with us, you got something to pick on us about. Hey, listen, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Stop doing it. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. When you get with one of these dudes, right, and they dress so sharp and so fly, right, to where you get intimidated as a female, you got issues. You got issues.
Major issues.
Yeah. That's probably not a heterosexual male. Okay. I mean, we're into styles, cool styles, and whatnot, but not heavy like these dudes. These guys are into the style. I mean, to the point where some of them have made careers out of style because they're really into how they look, just like women are. Women are really into how they look. Women are always worried about how they look. You can tell a woman who's 138 pounds that she's not fat and she'll think she's fat. She's 5'8", 165, Oh, I'm fat. No, you're not. You're not fat. Yes, yes, I am. I'm fat. I'm fat. No, you're not. See, women don't really care about how they look like that. These homosexuals, they're on the same level as a female when it comes down to looks. They have the same mentality. And will fight you, okay? And they will fight you over your straightening comb, your curling iron. They might steal your mirrors out your bag. Can't leave your makeup nowhere. They might jack you for that, okay? Hell, you can't even leave your clothes around. They've been on stole those too. How is it that you can't even be, check this out, you can't, when you got a real man, right? You with a real man, you could put your makeup down, your bag down, you got your makeup, and you got to worry about coming back, right? And you know, stole all your Maybelline. You ain't got to worry about none of that. See, you with these cats, you can't even put your bag down because they've been done ran in and took all your makeup out. Took all your lipstick, your eyeshadow, your foundation, took all that, just done wiped you out. And think about it, they ain't even going to sell it no way. They're going to wear it himself. So yeah, so this, and to bring it back to what we were talking about, this whole pimp culture thing, it should be something that is shunned in our community. It shouldn't be something that men are aspiring to be like. They shouldn't be teaching their boys to be pimps. And it should be something that should be excommunicated out of our community. Because it's very, very destructive to our women. And what these guys don't understand, when the woman is disrupted like that, it affects the child that she's carrying. Mr. Gray.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah, sick of this pimp culture thing. Now, let's get off into what Mr. Sugar Tank said. Mr. Gray, did you hear the comments of one Mr. Tank, the R&B singer?
Who did I? Okay. Yeah. But you know, we knew that you know, Tank was a fucking Peter Puffer. For
Go ahead, sir.
I mean, you know, he did that show for the LGBTQ Elemental P Pride Parade after show where he fucking got half naked in a goddamn Chippendales outfit and shit.
Wow. You know what I got out of that there, Mr. Gray, the comment he made? That there was an effort, a widespread effort throughout the homosexual community, that there's a collective effort about the homosexuals, and they're all on code, okay, to get Black women, okay, to accept homosexuality as normal. And that the clear acts of homosexuality between two men are normal. That's what I got out of that comment. And notice that he was talking to Black women. And then they were buying into it. Oh, okay, so wait a minute. So you're saying if a man did this to a man the first time, he's not gay? And then what if he did it the second time? You see, women, when you start talking like that, okay, you can't play games with them, right? Psychological games with them. When you start talking like that, you're getting yourself into danger psychologically. See, because they know what they're doing. You don't know what they're up to. What they're trying to do is psychologically get you to accept that clear acts of homosexuality between two men are normal and that there's nothing wrong with it. And the only way that they can do this and push this through society, they have to go through what first? They have to go through you. Because if it's accepted by you, it's going to be accepted into mainstream society. That's why they don't come to the men. He would never come to me or Cerulean Gray talking that nonsense. They would never do that. They have to go through you in order to get this to be accepted into mainstream society. And that's who they're targeting. They're targeting Black women with this. Okay? Coming to you and saying that a clear act, this is a clear act. Let's be understandable here. A man giving another man fellatio or head is a clear act of homosexuality. This is clear. There's nothing fuzzy about it. There's nothing hazy about it. You don't have to go think about it. You don't have to go ask somebody about it. You don't have to get a second opinion about it. You don't have to go to another planet and find out about it. No. It's a clear act of homosexuality that they are psychologically trying to get Black women to believe is normal. Mr. Gray.
Yes, yes. That's how normalcy is created. You know, keep bombarding people, you know, and pushing it into their mind. Eventually, you get to thinking that it's normal, right? But see, the thing is that again, we were asleep at the wheel since the end of the civil rights era, and they kept pumping the shit into your mind. 1972. The first channel that was beamed into every American home was known as the Public Broadcasting Station, right? PBS, Channel 2, some of you know it as. The first thing to start airing on PBS were children's shows. One of those first children's shows was known as Sesame Street. Do you know where they recruited the actors for the characters in Sesame Street?
No, where?
From the gay community.
Wow.
That's the reason why the actors inside of Sesame Street, notice that none of the actors in Sesame Street had a masculine tone.
Yeah, you know what? Especially, yeah, you're right. You know, come to think of it, Mr. Rogers was like that too.
Every children's show that was on PBS, which was the first channel beamed into every single house in America in 1972, none of them had a single masculine character. Now, in the spring of 1972, the first Miss Magazine was published. Gloria Steinem and Dorothy Pittman Hughes. The first published Miss Magazine had an article inside of the magazine in which they were interviewing a lady named Letty Pogrebin. Matter of fact, Letty Pogrebin, in that first Miss Magazine article, she was doing this interview on how to raise your children gender neutral.
Back then?
Back in 1972. And as a matter of fact, this same Letty Pogrebin, she went on to make millions of dollars writing all of these children's books, like the Three Daughters. You might know her as Letty Cotton, the American author. Letty Cotton Pogrebin. That is her name. Now, interesting how this is a Jewish woman. She's writing all of this stuff about gender neutrality, writing children's books in a gender neutrality in which there are no masculine figures. But whenever she writes Jewish children's books, in her Jewish children's books, there's always a masculine character. Like she wrote a book. Matter of fact, one of the latest books she wrote was in, I think 2014, 2015, about a Jewish man seeking soulmate. And yet, when I see this YouTube space, all I see is Negroes repeating propaganda. So if they could do this with PBS, Miss Magazine, what makes you think that they're not doing it with, say, 1972, when CDC first started doing massive surveys? What makes you think that they weren't doing it in criminal justice, which is why the UCR was created? The UCR, the Uniform Criminal Reporting System, was created to fix the inaccuracies of like criminal reporting. Now, mind you, they're working to try to fix the inaccuracies of previously misreported data by law enforcement agencies, putting them under the purview of what is known as Uniform Criminal Reporting, UCR. And mind you, whenever they created it, it was already inaccurate because the data that they started inputting in there was already misrepresented, overrepresented, inflated, deflated, altered data from the previous like 50, 60 years.
I didn't know that, man. I didn't know it went back that far.
Matter of fact, hold up. I'm gonna pull up Letty Pogrebin. I'm gonna do a share screen.
All right.
And I'm gonna pull up the first Miss Magazine cover.
That was Kali wants to know, when was homosexuality taken out of the DSM? I used to know that. That was back in what?
1974.
70, okay, I thought it was 72.
It was actually 1974 with the release of the DSM-3 version 2.
Mm-hmm.
DSM-3 version 1 has homosexuality in there as a sexual identity disorder. 1974, whenever they create the revisions, and I have the revision papers.
Mm-hmm.
1974, it's not in there anymore.
What, you mean the homosexuality? Really?
Classified as a mental illness, yes.
Yeah, it was there up to 1973, and they removed it. And Frances Cress Welsing said it in her books, The Ice Paper. Remember that? It was a specific chapter because she worked with clinical psychology. She said they removed it.
The hearing started 1973.
I
That's
thought it was 72.
the DSM-3 version 2 released in 1974.
Okay. Yep. That is the part 3, right?
Yeah, DSM-3 version 2.
Okay, so hey, I was wondering, did anybody still got the old DSM 2?
I have all of the DSMs.
You have on PDF?
I have them all on PDF.
Is that way you can email me the part 2? I have part 5.
This is yeah. Hold on. This is Miss Magazine.
All right, let me stop what I'm doing, man, because I gotta hear this, man. This motherfucker's my shit.
Okay, let me share this here.
I don't know if I could share on Zoom.
Chaos, you are in the middle of a show. Remember that, okay?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
This is
Okay, I see a magazine.
Yeah, let's not get enamored with something you can do behind the scenes. You're on a live show.
Okay, Max.
This is Miss Magazine. This is the first Miss Magazine.
Right. Wow. That's supposed to be the god of death, the goddess of death.
Look like Medusa.
Supposed to be the goddess of death. I believe that she's the one that had all of the arms.
That is the god of chaos.
That's the god of chaos. There's also a goddess of death that has multiple arms as well.
Gloria Steinem on sisterhood. Letty Pogrebin on raising kids without sex roles.
Hmm.
Mm. Wow.
Doing it
So this for a minute.
This is 1972. This is the very first. This is their premiere. The fucking premiere Miss Magazine. This is their pilot. This is the very first one.
Wow.
Magazine cover. Okay. Now this is Letty Pogrebin. This lady, Letty Pogrebin, you know her as Letty Cotton. Letty Cotton here. Letty Cotton Pogrebin.
I see.
Let's go to her website, Letty Pogrebin's books. 3 daughters. How to be a friend to a friend who's sick. Getting over getting older. Deborah, Golda, and me. The struggle to integrate a feminist head with a Jewish heart can lead to greater appreciation of both identities and the rewards of a passionate, well-examined life. I mean, this is what they're teaching. Among friends, family politics, love and power on an intimate frontier. Now, understand is this family politics book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Written back in the day. They wanted it for you. They wanted you to be single and survive without your men. How to survive without your men. In the Jewish community, these are the types of books she was writing. For the Jewish community, she was writing on family politics.
Mm-hmm.
In that book, what she was writing was that the importance of a father as a head. Now, mind you, this is a feminist, a white feminist writing this. When I say that feminism was a shell game, I really meant that shit. It never stopped Gloria Steinem going on to getting married, did it?
Nope.
Never stopped Margaret Sanger going on to getting married and having 2 children while she was telling you to abort yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shell game.
So
Down, just like Tommy Curry, the esteemed Dr. Tommy Curry said that the white woman is the mother of white supremacy, mother of white male hegemony.
Yep.
Growing Up Free provides a new blueprint for raising children in today's world of challenge and change. Pogrebin shows how to nourish the unique person in every child. She explodes the myths, cliches, and stereotypes of femininity and masculinity and shows traditional child rearing methods can actually be harmful to children. This is Letty Pogrebin, the woman who's writing children's books. See, when I talk about the Great Faulkner Initiative and why it's so imperative, Black women make the Department of Education yours, and Black men for that matter too, especially when you get to middle school to high school. Black men are very important.
Yeah.
This is why, because this is the shit that they're teaching children. They're teaching children from this paradigm. Getting yours, how to make the system work for the working woman. Wait, getting yours, how to make the system work for the working woman? Let's check this out. How to make the system work. This is a white woman writing this. This is not the gynocracy. This is a white woman writing this.
So they've had this plan for decades.
No, they had it since in the 60s.
Wait, Letty Pogrebin, this is getting yours, how to make the system work for the working woman. More than half of all American women work outside of the home. Chances are you're one of them and you're ready to job hunt for economic or personal reasons. Getting yours is a down-to-earth, informative, and compassionate guide to the working world. A world that can and will survive or will serve your needs as well as you have always served the needs of others, if you know how to make it happen. I mean, and I actually have this book in my book reading list because I was just looking at this earlier.
Yeah.
How to Make It in a Man's World. The classic of the Mad Men era, this bedside Bedecker offers advice for working women struggling to balance career and family, plus entertaining anecdotes from Pogrebin's 13-year career as an executive in the mostly male book publishing industry, right? Free to be you and me. I mean, free to be you and me. Stories for free children. But see, I thought these Negroes said the white woman was more cooperative. I thought they said that the white woman was more feminine.
Nope. She plotted to kill your ass.
Yeah.
Take the dick and kill you.
But see, this is plastic. This is that plastic GMO femininity that I was talking about.
Damn.
She pretends to be feminine, cooperative. I mean, you better ask Tiger Woods, is she really free or cooperative?
Talk about a wolf in sheep clothing. What about the kitty in sheep's clothing? I mean, these kitties seem to be little evil leopards or something. I mean, wow.
Look, this is a single Jewish male seeking soulmate. She never forgets the men of her community when she writes a book about the Jews, right?
Nope.
Of course not.
Getting older. In this, she's talking about an intimate journey in which she's, this is like the cougar thing, right? Deborah Golda and me, being female and Jewish in America. Now, mind you, this book came out a long time ago. This is where you have people like, take for instance, Kimberly Crenshaw getting the idea of intersectionality from this bullshit book here, Letty Cotton Pogrebin. Among friends, who we like, why we like them, and what we do with them. Family politics. Oh, this is a book for her Jewish community. Notice that whenever it's the Jewish community, right? When she writes a book for the Jewish community, it revolves around family. Whenever she's writing a book for everyone else, right? Or that she's going to sell to the world, which is utter pieces of shit that she's given to the world. It's how to survive without a man, how to how to be your own woman, how to make it in a man's world.
How was she not called out for this kind of hypocrisy, though?
She's not called out for it because niggas aren't paying attention. They think that this is the black gynocracy.
Mm-hmm. This black woman is the cause of black man's oppression. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is extreme hypocrisy here, man.
Free raising your child in the 1980s. Now, I want you to understand something. Growing up free, raising your child in the 1980s, there was one woman, a white conservative woman, about the 10 to 15 years ago that came out and actually put Letty Pogrebin under fire. Do you know who that woman was?
Betty Shabazz or somebody? Who?
It was a white woman, and Taz actually just put her on trial the other night. For those of you who are paying attention.
Who was later called out?
White conservative.
Another lady called her out?
Another white woman called her out.
Mm. Well, it's not hard. I mean, the hypocrisy, he may as well be Pinocchio. You know, I mean, wow. I mean, this is so bad. Her nose should be as long as the George Washington Bridge. So, Chaos.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this comment that Tank made?
I might do a show on that, talk about that. I've been noticing a lot of people been talking about that lady lately. That's the entertainment business.
Yeah, it's, you know why? Because people are talking about it because basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to get society. You see, there's this massive effort by homosexuality or people who consider themselves in power as homosexuals, trying to get society to accept homosexuality as normal and the blatant acts between two men that are clearly homosexual in nature, that these acts are normal acts, and then they're no different than the regular intimate acts that happen naturally between a man and a woman.
Okay. Well, this is my thing, Max, with all that, is that in that business, and mind you, it proves that these guys that's in the entertainment, they have to bend over and get screwed. And the saddest thing about all this, Max, is that people always speculate there's no homosexuality in entertainment business. There is.
Of course.
You know?
But that's not really, but to me, right? You see, the way I think that we should react to this, we should be extremely cerebral about this one.
Yeah.
Okay? And not get all emotional, not call them names, not say they got the cooties, none of that stuff. Okay, because this is a pure psychological attack on Black women.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just talk about Letty Pogrebin. That book she wrote, Growing Up Free, Raising Your Child in the 80s. There was a former Fox News pundit, white female conservative, that put her under fire like 10, 15 years ago. The white woman's name, see, I'm trying to give you guys hints because if you guys are paying attention, Taz just put her on trial. White woman used to date JJ from Good Times.
Oh, yeah.
Ann Coulter. She put Letty Pogrebin under fire 10, 15 years ago.
Man, Coulter is a conservative. She's out here talking this nonsense.
Now, she actually mentioned.
Wait a minute. She went with Kid Dynamite? And she's talking this conservative stuff?
Man, look, the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes.
Wow. Wow. Good.
Truth is stranger than fiction. See, 10, 11 years ago when she was talking about single motherhood and all of that, she actually threw a shot at Letty Pogrebin where she was talking about this is Pogrebin's folly when she was teaching women that you could be free or grow up free, raising your child on your own in the 1980s. And now in the white community, you have a 45% out of wedlock birth rate. Now understand that's catastrophic whenever you measure that against the black community's out of wedlock birth rate, because that 45% still outnumbers our 70% whenever you break down the raw numbers. In fact, that 45% out of wedlock birth rate that you find in the white community outnumbers the totality of the black community.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't understand what that consists of. They think that that's all black women that contribute to 70% of the kids, being out of wedlock, assuming that all of them are black women.
And no, as much as a third of the black children born to the black community are born to non-black mothers.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, you should probably look up the CDC study on abortion.
Mm-hmm.
That nearly half of the black babies were aborted by non-black women.
Yes.
Mhm.
But they contribute to all black women. You see, they don't understand that. You see, a large portion of that, right, aren't even black women who are having black children because if your father is black, the child is considered what? Black. If the mother is black, the child is considered what? Black.
But see, here's the cold thing about it. The black community still gets taxed for those black children, right?
Right.
Yep.
They say, oh, this is you're responsible for 20 million abortions. No, you're probably only responsible for about 10 million, but who's counting after really one abortion, right? White women aborted 66 million children in the last 40 something years since Roe v. Wade.
Yep. And they're pushing back that as we speak.
Wow, 66 million? Damn, wait a minute, did you say 66 million?
Yes, and damn near half of the motherfuckers were non-white. The white woman was fucking everybody from the East Indian to the Negro to the Mexican, and they would get abortions because they didn't want to be shunned by white society.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do a show on that, bro. That has to be brought out. That needs to be talked about.
Let's do some numbers. Niggas is having all of these out of wedlock births, but yet the black population is down.
Exactly.
How is this possible?
Yeah, how is that possible?
I can't figure out how we still 12%, 13%. That's impossible to me.
Yeah, and that's why I question it. So I'm thinking if they're killing us or they're taking people, snatch people.
No, I think they're you know what? It's kind of basically what you're saying, right? I think they're saying that to cover up for the fact that they're murdering us and snatching our kids. I mean, that's the perfect cover, right? To murder in excess of people.
But wait, we just having all of these out of wedlock babies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But our population is down. Please help us make sense of that.
Don't make no sense. Yeah.
But I find it interesting how this derelict Negro male, right? Like take for instance DJ Kid. DJ HIV kid. Right? 600 wombs burnt. 600 to 700 black wombs burnt. Many of these children will not go on to live full lives. And those that they infect will also not go on to live full lives. Mind you, the CDC knew about this guy back 5-6 years ago.
More like 8 years ago.
Was it 8 years ago?
Yeah, because the first report by a young woman was back in 2011. So this dude had AIDS for over a decade.
And then whenever they say, "Oh, that's what they get," mind you, these are even let's just say for hypothetical that they were adult women able to make adult choices. They're still victims.
Yeah.
Anytime you're ambushed with a goddamn sexually transmitted disease from a motherfucker who does not tell you, does not warn you, that is victimization. That is terrorism. That is biological warfare and terrorism.
Yep. And you know, Cerulean, the one thing that was revealed by another YouTuber about that motherfucker is that dude wrote blogs on his Facebook intentionally, and his real end game was to affect Black men.
No.
A lot of dudes went over their head with that. He did that not only to kill you, but to kill you.
That's right, because the people were hoping that.
Because he said the girls gonna screw the boys, and it's gonna kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
And this is what I don't understand with fuck boys. That say you let this dude in to come kill your woman so he can turn around and kill you.
Well, they don't understand war strategy, Chaos.
They don't give a fuck about war strategy, Max.
Huh?
They don't give a fuck.
If you guys,
This is what's happening. They don't understand. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember last year I did the podcast about women being a logistical resource.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Understand something. Let me understand something. You talk about a logistical resource. That right there is a type of Fabian war. It's to kill off the logistical supply chain. Supply chain for what? How do you make more soldiers? You need wounds. You poison the well, you have no fucking soldiers.
DVR. They don't understand the war strategy behind that. The way they see it, they look at it the same way. They look at it as far as not being able to get women. They look at it as, well, this guy is able to get the type of women that I can't get, so I don't care anything about them because they didn't select me. Well, you idiot. He don't care about that either. All he care about is killing them and killing you too. So he figured if he infects them, they will in turn infect you. DVR. Uh-huh. Go ahead, bro.
Chaos, mute your back feed, bro.
Hold on.
Chaos.
Yeah, so go ahead, man.
Did you mute Chaos?
I don't hear anything from him. Yeah, he's good. He's good. You talking about the music, Cerulean?
No.
Okay. Okay, no, that was me. I turned my background down. I turned my TV down.
But yeah, what they're looking at is a form of bioterrorism.
Yeah, it is.
The thing is, organized bodies of men, they'll never fucking allow that shit, man. This shit is an L that we gotta eat. There's no way around it. I know, nigga. We can't be held accountable for everything. Yes, you can, and yes, you are. Yes, you will, because it's universally understood that men are the leaders. They are the foundation layers, and so therefore, if your women are acting out of line, that is a fucking insurmountably immeasurable fuck up on your part.
They don't care, man. All they care about is being select. It's like you're looking for a pat on the head, or they're looking for a baby bottle or pacifier or something.
Look, I heard a nigga, like, I was watching the Prophet of Thoughts channel. He had Supreme King Coon up there. He had fucking Supreme King Coon, Game Changer, Mr. Fantastic,
Yeah. I was over there for about 5 minutes. I left.
BMT, and I heard some of the most egregious things to masculinity I've ever heard. I heard a Negro literally say that, in the black community, because we do this and we don't get no praise, as if manhood. See, it's funny because you gotta really understand this Negro, right? When a woman says, right, that she raised her kids on her own, and it was out of necessity, right? They say, "Oh, you're supposed to do that. What do you want, a cookie?" But then on the flip side of that, I hear a Negro say, "Well, the black community, they don't give us no praise, and this, that, and the third." And there was another dude on there named Dr. Phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, well, the black community don't get no praise, and you got all of these dudes co-signing each other, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't mess with dude, man. He was in here the other night. Me and him got into it on your channel, and I went to his channel last night. I know exactly the stream you're talking about. I was over there for about a good 5 or 10 minutes, and then I realized, well, these guys were whack, and then I left. That's the same dude that was on O'Shea Deuce Jackson talking about hating black mothers. So I'm not surprised to hear. I'm not surprised you heard what you heard.
I just thought it was egregious.
Yeah, man, these guys are. You see, this is the problem, man. It's like you said.
This is exactly what the nigga said. I think it was either Game Changer or Supreme King Coon that said, "We don't get praised. We don't get no accolades for being who we are." Like, who the fuck are you? Well, secondly, I didn't know that masculinity was a motherfucking popularity contest. I didn't know that being a fucking man was a popularity contest. Being a fucking
Well, it is amongst women, though. See, you see, your masculinity is what makes you popular among women, not amongst other men.
They should give us a more praise, and we don't get no like, nigga. I didn't know that there was a popularity contest. When has being a man ever been popular?
See, here's the problem. Man. These guys keep thinking that something should be given to them. That's the problem right there.
And then I heard BMT, and I don't really have anything necessarily against BMT, but I heard this nigga say, like, and this is what pisses me off. This is what pisses me off. Niggas will use this situation with this DJ Kid, right? This Jason Roger Pope dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
to act like they're really concerned about the act of bioterrorism that was executed against us by this guy, right?
Who act like they were concerned?
They will make it seem like they were so concerned. Really?
Man, they don't care nothing about
No, hold up. This is the most egregious thing that I heard, right?
mhm.
I heard BMT say this. It pissed me off.
Right.
What he said was when he was out doing his volunteer work in Florence, that he met a woman that admitted that she had HIV and she never told her husband. I want you to peep this, right? Game Changer of all,
Yeah, go ahead.
Game Changer of all people, right? Game Changer asked him, he's like, you didn't tell her husband? And he was like, no, I didn't tell, we can't, I can't do that. And then, mind you, these guys are talking about morality and all of this other shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Game Changer said, here, I'm going to do this. Put my number in the chat. I'm going to put my number in the chat. You give me a call. Give me his number. I'll call him and tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, oh, no, I ain't going to do that. Now, see, now, if you really want to get into a moral basis, see, morality dictates that if you're going to do what is right or you're going to stand by some kind of moral basis, that you have to stand by it all the time, no matter the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Damned it be legal or illegal. Now, I will give this to Game Changer to his fucking credit, because I would have did the same fucking thing. You give me the goddamn number, I'll tell the nigga myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the nigga didn't. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. And then, when niggas come around and they pretend like they're really trying to do this for the benefit of black men. And you even had Dr. Phoenix on there claiming that he was so upwardly moral and just. And he was basically co-signing what BMT said. Like, okay, so the woman comes out, tells you that she's had HIV and she hasn't told her husband yet, and you didn't say nothing. I don't
even know how to. I don't even know how to. Wow.
See, now it's making me think. Like, was that just some? Did that really happen, or was that just some bullshit that you were using to throw a jab at black women?
That's basically what it was. And then what it is that it sounds like some BS to just throw interference in black men dropping the ball with this DJ Kid dude. Because as a man, as an honorable man, I can't imagine you talking to a woman and she's infected with HIV, right? And you know her husband or her man, and he don't know, and you not going, and you ain't gonna let him know. I don't even know what that is, right? Dude, I don't even know what you call that. That's beyond
insane.
That's above my pay grade, bro. I don't even know what to call that. She's infected with HIV, and you know she's infected with HIV. And she's sleeping with her husband or her man, and you know him, and you won't let him know because he don't know. She tell you that he doesn't know, and you know him, and you won't tell him? I don't know what that is, man. And even though I don't like Game Changer, I have to give him props on that one. That was manly for him to put that gesture out there. They call that brother to tell him. I have to call it out, even though I don't agree with Game Changer about anything. I have to stand with him on that one. That was,
You know what I really think? I think what was happening was Game Changer probably sniffed the fucking bullshit and tested that nigga's balls, and that nigga backed the fuck down.
yeah.
Hold.
Yeah, because that's, I don't even know what that. How do you even? How do you come out, right? First of all, if I did that, I wouldn't even tell nobody I did that. What do I look like coming in here telling y'all? Yeah, man, I was talking to a black woman. She had HIV, and she was sleeping with my boy, right? And she didn't tell him. But you know what? I ain't tell my boy either.
Chaos is waiting for you to bring him back on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I wouldn't even tell anybody that.
Sorry about that. My thing went up.
Yeah, I wouldn't even tell anybody that. Like, what do you sound like coming to my son? Yeah, I know this chick, right? She got HIV. She begging my boy, but he don't know. She ain't tell him. But I didn't tell him either. That ain't my business. I ain't gonna get involved in that. Well, nigga, that's your man's, right? Yeah, that's my man's and all. But she got HIV, and they're having sex, and she's not telling them that she's got HIV. How come you gonna tell them? Man, ain't my problem, man. It's between them two. You know what you sound saying to her? Man, I wouldn't even tell anybody that, bro.
I won't tell anybody any of that shit.
Nah. What the F you look like coming here saying some BS like that?
I thought that was just fucking insane.
I'm just saying that's the kind of stuff, right? That'll get everybody in the room just staring at you. As soon as you finish saying that, everybody just looking at you.
And it's fucked up because now I have to give this asshole his props, right? I have to give this asshole his credit because that was the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, Game Changer, yeah, but it's okay. He'll mess it up. We'll be right back to the disagreement. He gets a reprieve for now because that was a manly and honorable thing to do. So we got to give credit where it's due. That was, regardless of what the disagreements, that was manly right there. That was an honorable thing to do. I would have done the same thing. Well, actually, I would have done a little bit more than that. I would have cussed them out.
Oh,
and called them all kinds of functions.
I've been like, nigga, text me that nigga's number. I'm gonna call him right now.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't, you're gonna let me know that you ain't really doing this shit for no motherfucking black boy. You're not really concerned about black men.
No, you're not.
This is a man who is probably a fucking father, which means that he's probably got kids, and they probably also have the HIV. So now you basically, different than the Jason Pope.
Yeah, exactly. You actually helping the Jason Popes. And you know what? And my thing is that you shouldn't appear like some kind of talking head, like this is some kind of a conversational piece. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I was talking to a black woman who was positive in HIV, and she was screwing my boy, who I've known for a while, and he doesn't know that she's infected with HIV. Right. And she's not going to tell him, and neither am I.
Completely fucking absurd.
Yeah, like Negro. What did you just say? I mean, man, that's the time when you get angry with a Negro. You go to him and man, what Negro? What the F did you just say? So you get angry with somebody like that. That's when it's justified. That's one of the occasions where it's really justified for you to be angry after what somebody had just said. Your anger is justified. You should be angry after hearing some crazy nonsense like that. But to me, it seems like BMT is a walking excuse. And all of them conservative guys like Mr. Fantastic, and a lot of these guys are very immature. Um, I've heard these guys on O'Shea Jackson. I've heard, these guys only exist in a few areas because they can't really expand over YouTube because their rhetoric is not welcome in a lot of places. Their mentality isn't welcome in a lot of places on YouTube. I'm not even sure why black man is a conservative. That right there is confusing to me. Chaos.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't
Hello?
know. I don't know about that. But getting back to what I was saying, you see now, you have this push to where they want homosexuality to be normalized and everything in it normalized.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to go through the black woman to get it normalized because they know they can't come to the men with that because we're not going to accept that or allow it or whatever. So they have no other choice but to go through the women.
Yeah.
If you notice that when Tank was making that comment, who was he talking to? Women.
Yeah. Yes.
And then he bounced the conversation backward and forward. He interjected some things, and then they fell for a hook, line, and sinker and started wondering and thinking about it. Well, it could be this and it could be that. You see, that's what they want. They want that area of doubt so they can expand on it.
Yeah.
Where did Cerulean go?
He's here.
Okay. And so, yeah, guys, let's get back to where was we? So you was making a point about DMT. Yeah, okay. Well, I really don't support that brother popular thought, so I don't agree with that brother at all. So I don't go over there messing with that dude like that. And I'm not shocked that you had those coons on there. Pretty much the same kind of coons that be on O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But chaos.
Yes.
Look at the topic, right? Creating an environment of maximum protection for the black woman. Do you believe that environment exists today?
A lot of dudes are cowards today in 21st century. They gotten very soft, man. I just don't see when a woman or children that's being somewhat protected by enough of these men today. And now you find them making excuses. They say if it's not one of their own woman that they're sticking their phallus at night, they're not gonna protect it.
But they're not even protecting that woman either.
Max, like I said, a lot of these men today are very cowards, and a lot of women could sense it.
They're not protecting anything.
It makes me wonder when they talk about you hear a lot of these dudes that call themselves the lames, right? Mm-hmm. That the black woman choose wrong, right? Choose a man that's a so-called quote unquote gangster, thug, or you want to label, right? Mm-hmm. And it makes me want to say, it's not only that this person has what they call swag, but he brings a sense of some form of protection, some form of protection. Now, I can't speak of his it goes to all rules. A lot of these gangsters now protecting the women, the black women today. I can't say that, but I know they'll probably do a little bit more in that department than these quote unquote dudes that are playing it safe. You get me?
Mhm.
I remember one time there was a video one time circulating that the father wouldn't even help his teenage daughter from the abuse from the cops.
Mhm.
That's frightening, Max. It's frightening. You know? That's how I see it, man.
Well, you know, just like I was saying, right? They're not providing protection for anyone. There was a situation on a video that I saw where it was a pregnant black woman in her car in a Walmart parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had a race soldier go up to her and started arguing about her being in a parking lot and wanted her to move, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that she was there teaching her daughter how to drive, right? She was pregnant with one child, there with her other child, her daughter, teaching her daughter how to drive, right?
Yeah.
And then the race soldier approached her with absolute disrespect, had no care in the world whether she was carrying a child or not. Okay, this shows you the total disregard that they have, period. He approached her with complete disregard for her, right? Screaming on her, yelling on her, whatever. Now, remember the brother who came to her rescue? The brother who was driving the cab and he was also carrying a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he successfully, got that situation straightened out, right? But here's the problem: the reaction to that video, okay, especially in places like the Coliseum and manned spaces, right? The reaction to that was some of the most sickening stuff I ever heard in my life. I'm talking about stuff that makes me physically sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reactions like her fat so-and-so should have stayed in the car. Why should she have stayed in the car? I don't understand this here, right? Why was there any talk about her, period, other than the fact that he approached her? So he approached her, felt that he could do this, and all I heard was guys blame the woman for being there, period. That's all I heard. I didn't hear one person accuse that man of doing something he shouldn't have done.
Max,
Mm-hmm.
from that encounter, have you noticed one trend for that whole entire encounter? How most of the men were very much sissies.
Yeah.
When they talk about say why they blame one, why the fuck she did this? What?
Exactly. Why
Okay.
did she get out of the car? What do you mean? Why did she get out of the car? She can get out of the car. Nothing wrong with her getting out of the car. Why didn't she take her fat pregnant behind her? First of all, she has the right to be in the area where she's at. How come we're not talking about why did he approach her when he had no business approaching her? She's pregnant. Why is this man, right, arguing?
Why is this white man so emboldened to walk up front of a pregnant woman like he's about to beat her in front of everybody?
Exactly. And why is he even doing that on a pregnant woman?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's not talked about. You see, the actions of the man is always excused by these sissies.
Mm-hmm.
They never accuse the man of being in the wrong. Same thing with the white man who's 6'7", 300 and some pounds, nearly knocking the head off an 11-year-old girl. They didn't say nothing about his behavior. All they did was accuse her. You know, I feel sorry for the black woman in this day and age because the men that represent this generation are weak and pathetic.
Actually, these men generation have failed. Actually, they failed.
The black men that represent this generation are weak, pathetic, and cowardly. And embarrassing. They're also embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
This is embarrassing. Think about how we look. Think about how black men look to the rest of the world. Back in my day, when we traveled the country, we were still feared and respected. When I went to different countries, I was treated like a king because of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm hearing, things are different nowadays. They see us differently. How cowardly do we look to other races of men?
Oh, they know that. They know that the derelict Negro male is a coward.
Hold on, I want to say 1 second, Cerulean. Shout out to Kylie Jane 79 for this comment. It's because they aim to absolve themselves of the responsibility of protecting the black women. Absolutely 100% agree. Matter of fact, I agree 1000%.
Yeah, because if you can absolve the man, then you can absolve yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah, Max. I might have to resubscribe to your channel because it looked like I don't see it when I was going to my phone now and looking for your show.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on my phone. It came right up.
You
I
can't.
put Maximum Overdrive 3G in there. It came right up.
Okay, Maximum Overdrive. Okay, let me type that.
Yeah, Maximum Overdrive space the number 3 and then G.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I feel, and I'm gonna do a show about this soon, about how I feel bad for black women in this generation. This generation of men are pathetic. They are cowardly. They are weak, and they are effeminate.
Fuck. Is there
Okay?
underscore?
No, it's no underscore.
Okay.
And then they're prone to fear. I don't mean no average. I'm talking about some stark raven fear, like some real frightening type fear. They're prone to it. Prone.
I'm about to hop in. Yeah, I'm about to hop off of here. I'll meet you guys in Discord in a second here.
Okay, Cerulean, thanks for
Yeah,
I'm
Cerulean, make sure you email me the DSM 2 or 1, 2 or 1.
Yeah. Hey, Cerulean, Kylie shouting you out, talking about husband is feared and respected everywhere you guys go.
Let's stay with my firmly planted in the ass of the derelict Negro male.
All right, fellas, let's shut it down, man. We have been going for more than 2 hours. Okay, I want to thank you for coming up.
All right.
And helping me out with the stream. Thanks, Chaos. Thanks, Cerulean, for coming through. Thanks, everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
For coming through, my strong peoples, Kylie Jane, Vonda Harris, and the Sugar Bee Chronicles and the Lights. We will be back next Thursday for our normal broadcast, okay? But I will be doing some broadcasts probably tomorrow and Saturday, okay? It depends on what I feel like doing. I'll probably do something tomorrow in the midday. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do yet. But anyway, thanks to everybody for coming out. And we'll see you on the next broadcast of the Overdrive. Until then, remember, the power is in the black is the people, and therein lies the power. All right, everybody, good night and peace.
Peace.